Okay, welcome to Shabita Uganda e-learning. My name is Nelson, and in today's video we are going to look at our continuation of our recent videos about prime factorization of numbers. We had so far looked at how can you use prime factorization to solve numbers, or how can you prime factorize these numbers. So in today's lesson we shall be looking at a variety of questions on how these prime factors are set, and we also went ahead looking at what we call how do we represent these prime factors on a Venn diagram. So we had looked at a variety of questions. So these questions, we are going to make a continuation from there. These were our questions. We looked at our question 1, which required us to represent a prime factor of 4 and 8 on a Venn diagram. Then also find the lowest common multiple, that is using what? Using prime factorization. Also we looked at finding out the GCF, that is the greatest common factors, also using what? Using prime factorization. So in this lesson we are going to be able to look at more questions as indicated here. We also looked at our question 3. Please, if you are not able to look out on these questions, you can also preview on some recent lessons that we did for you to move with us on the same page. So in today's lesson I want to look at a different question. Okay, in this different question I want to ensure that we handle multiple questions such that we can be able to understand the tricks and the knowledge you can apply to answer these questions. Okay, so this is going to be our question 4. Our question 4 is here. It is all about finding the greatest common factors, that is by prime factorization, and also how these numbers are presented on what? On a Venn diagram, and you come up with a right answer. Okay, so our question 4 is here. They are saying that given our f of x, and our f of y, this is just in a set notation. We have our f of x and our f of y, which is given here with values. So when they say our f of x, they mean these are prime factors of what? Of x, which is not given, they are unknown. And also have the prime factors of y, which are not given, they are unknown. But we have been given the values of these inside our set. So they want us to find out finding the value of what? Finding the value of x, and also finding the value of what? Finding the value of y. Then after you have found these values of y, you should be able to work out the greatest common factors, that is of x and y, using prime factorization. And also you find out the lowest common multiple, also using what? Using prime factorization. So we are going to do out this number all of us together. We are going to do it all of us together, such that we can come up with a good solution, or such that we can be able to answer questions of such a kind when asked. Okay, so let's get started as we calculate. To make a recap, we are able to look at how we can find the prime factors of these numbers. So let's first find out on how we can make how we can get a prime factors of any number. It's going to give us an idea of how we can really find these prime factors which are not given. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, when you try out our numbers, we have we can try out any number to first give us a concept of how we are going to make this. We have let's try out our number, assuming we are trying out our number, which is 8. We said for us to get the prime factors, we can use both methods, that is a ladder method and also a factor tree method. So in these methods, let's use the factor tree method. We said we look out for the number which can divide our 8 and it gives us a no remainder. So which number can be that? Someone with an idea? Okay, let's try out our 2, which is a least factor. We are going to try out our 2. So when we divide out our 2, our 8 divided by 2, we shall be able to get our 4. Also when we divide our 4 by 2, we shall be able to get our what? Our 2 here. Also when we divide our 2 by 2, we shall get our 1. Let's also try out another what? Another factor. Let's try out another factor, which is which one? Okay, we can try out our 4 and also use the same concept of factor tree method. We divide it by 2. Also here we divide it by 2. We get a 1. So this simply means that if they want you to find out the prime factors of 8, we shall be able to pick out our 2. And this 2 of ours appears one time, second time, third time. Okay. Also here it appears once. It also appears for the second time. So to put this in a set notation, we shall now be able to say that our prime factors of what? Prime factors of 8 are going to be equal to we have what? We have our 2 1, our 2 2, our 2 3. We are saying this is happening there because we are counting for how many times does our 2 appears, and we show them. So when we show them and arrange them in a set notation, then we said there is also what we call arranging these numbers in a multiplication a multiplication form. It can also do what? It can also work for us. So this is a concept that we shall be using to find out our values here. Okay, so how do we find our values here? Assuming we have been given this and they want us to find our 8, how can we do this? For us to be able to get our f of 8 or our 8, what we do is to get our factors. Then we represent them in what? Represent them in a multiplication form. How many times are they appearing? They are appearing 3 times. Then we multiply them. So when we multiply them, we shall be able to get our 8. Okay, let's try out. We have our 2 here, our 2 times 2, and 2 times 2, then 2 times 2. This is the same as 2 power what? 2 power 3. So when you say 2 power 3 is the same as this number. So when you say 2 power 3, if you multiply all these numbers, you should be able to get our what? Our 8. So this is the same concept that we are going to use for us to get our f of y, the prime factors of y, and the prime factors of what? Prime factors of x, when we have been given this set. Okay, so now let's get started, because at least we know some concept that we can be able to find out our values of x, our values of y, and also the GCF and the LCM. Okay, so we shall first list out our factors of what? Factors of x. Our factors of x are going to start from here. are going to start from here, as you can see, up to here. Then our factors of y are going also to start from here, as you can see how it is moving up to here. So let's first list them such that now we can be able to carry out our form of multiplication. So our factors of x, we have a 2 1, we have a 2 2, we have a 2 3, and 3 1. Okay, so here we shall write our factors of what? Our factors of x. Our factors of x is going to be equal to these values of ours. We have a 2 1, we have a 2 3, we have a 2 2, this is a 2 2, then 2 3, then you have a 3 1. Okay, someone asking 2 1, 2 2, then 2 3. This simply means how many times our 2 is appearing when we are dividing out our factor. Alright, so here now we can be able to put it in a multiplication form, which is going to be our 2 multiplied by what? Multiplied by 2, then multiplied by what? By 2 again, then times what? Times 3. So here we should be able to come up with our answers, 4 times 6. So our final answer here shall be able to say our 4 times 6 is 24. So now this simply means that our f of x, our prime factors of x, are these ones, and our x is going to be equal to 24. Okay, so that's how we can find out the prime factors, especially when they are put them in form of unknowns. So let's also find the prime factors of what? Prime factors of y. Prime factors of y are going to be equal to, let's go back to the set and identify them. We have a 2 1, we have a 2 2, then we have a 3 1, we have a 3 2, we have a 3 3. Okay, we are saying our prime factors of y, we have our 2 1, we have our 2, then we have our 3 1, then we have our 3 2, we have our 3 3. So these are the values of these are the prime factors of what? Prime factors of y. So for our prime factors of y, now here we can put them in a multiplication form, which is going to be equal to 2 times 2 times 2, then times 3, times 3, then times what? Times 3. 3 is appearing how many times? 3 times. So this is going to be our 4 times 9. That is 3 times 3. Then times also what? Times 3. So our factors of what? Factors of y should be able to give us an answer, which is what is 3 times 4? 3 times 4 we get 36. What is 3 times 4? We get 12. Then when you say 12 times 9, we also get, okay, let's handle one by one. We say 4 times 9. Let's say 4 times 9. 4 times 9, we are going to get this, then times what? Times 3. Okay, so when you say 3 times 6, we get our 8. 3 times 6, we get 18. Then we carry 1. 3 times 3, we get 9. What is 9 plus 1? Okay, so this simply means that our f of what? Our f of y is going to be equal to 180. 108. So that simply means we have now been able to get these values which were missing. So here we are having our 24. Also here we are having our what? 108. Okay, so now let's move on and find out our GCF and our lowest common factor using what? Using prime factorization. Okay, let's find out our greatest common factor. Okay, so for us to be able to get our greatest common factor, we should be able to get our f of what? Our f of x. F of x is equal to our f of what? Our f of y. Our f of x, we are meaning the prime what? The prime factors of x, and then the prime factors of what? Prime factors of y. So let's first list them out and we'll see. We have f of x intersection f of y. We have 2 1, we have 2 1, then 2 2, then 3 1. Okay, so when we list them out, this is going to be equal to 2 1, 2 2, then our 3 what? Our 3 1. Then we shall also be able to change this into a multiplication form, which is going to be our 2 times 2 times 3. So this simply means we shall be able to get our answers 2 times 2 and 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. We are going to get our answers what? As 12. So this is going to be our greatest common factor using what? Using prime factorization. Then we should also be able to get our lowest common multiple using prime factorization, where this is going to be equal to our f of x union our f of y. So when you say our f of x union our f of y, we are simply meaning both sets that has been given, or both of the factors of x and the factors of what? Factors of y, which are going to be equal to our 2 here. As you can see, our factors of x are here and our factors of y are also here, which is equal to 2 1, 2 2, then 2 3, then we have a 3 1, we have a 3 2, then our 3 3. So we should be able to use this for us to derive the answer. So when we put it into a multiplication form, we shall be able to get our 2 times 2 times 2, that is 3 times, then also multiplied by 3, also by 3. So we should also be able to come up with what? With an answer here. Okay, should also be able to come up with what? With an answer. Okay, so for us to come up with an answer, I'm going to first rub out here such that we can get where to write. Let me first rub out this for us to get where to write. Okay, so now we can put our answer here. we are saying we are going to have our 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so this is what this is going to be equal to our 4 times 6 times 9. So you can try out this number of hours. We are having our 4 times 6, then times 9. So we should also be able to come up with our answer here. So finally, we can say our lowest common multiple using prime factorization is going to be equal to 1, 6. So finally, for this we shall have solved our number which has been given. Okay, we shall have solved our x and we shall have solved our y, then also the greatest common factor of x and y. Okay, so to make a recap is to identify or to understand how do we come up with the prime factor of these numbers. So this simply means the way how they got these prime factors, which are already filled in our Venn diagram. It may also come and they say you present them on the Venn diagram. Still should not be very hard for you to solve, to come up with a right answer. Also be able to do what? Be able to use a multiplication form for you to come up with the numbers that are unknown. Also, with getting the greatest common factor, remember we have used the formula, which is f of x, which is the prime factors of x, and the intersection the prime factors of prime factors of y, which has already been given in our set. Okay, so for this I can say thank you very much for being part of this lesson, and also be able to check out on some of the playlist because some of these videos we are moving on a topic by topic, which helps you to move at the same page. You can also be able to subscribe for some more upcoming lessons. Stay blessed. Nice moment. See you in the next lesson.